Good morning, Canadian Yarn Heart. My name's Alyssa, and today I'm just making a quick project. Now, I'm really proud of this one. I did this one all on my own. I took my pumpkin pattern that will be out by the time this one comes out. And so I'm very, very proud of this. As you can see, it's a little snowman. My husband says there's a little hard to see. But so I've changed the yarn I used for the outside, the white. I'm going to use a different yarn that I think will show it a little better. As you can see, Salem's right there sleeping. If you are new here, thank you very much. What I do here, just a brief overview. I'm sure people are getting tired of it. So the returning viewers, thank you. And I do apologize. What I like to do here is Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I like to do a quick daily update on a project video that is a little larger that I'm doing in the background. I really should do this one up as a project. I haven't done it yet. I did it in the background. I didn't have a lot of yarn if you saw the daily updates. I didn't have a lot of yarn for this one. It was only 4 balls of 85 grams a ball. And I managed to make it into a complete cardigan, was very proud of that. So I will probably try to find another yarn I have only a little bit of, and I will make this one in the background, but the one I'm using, I'm almost there, so maybe that can be the next one. Oh, and I just noticed Willow's hiding over there, so there's Willow. Maya's down below like normal. As I said, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays, I like to release a video like this where it's something smaller. I do believe you can do it. It gets me a chance to express my creativity, which I enjoy. And I like to try to tell you how long it'll take me to make while I'm making it. That way you have a general idea of how long it's going to take. That way you're not surprised when you make it, if you decide to make it, if you're not just watching these videos because you enjoy watching that. I would love to hear from you in any question, comments, or concern you have below. I would love to earn your like and subscription, and I'm going to move you over and I'll get started on the details. So you are going to need a few things. This is a brown, a dark brown. I will link it in the description box below because it is a cotton that I got from Amazon. You are going to need a black, which I decided to use the Bernat Velvet, which is a 5 bulky. It does recommend a 6.5 millimeter needle or a 6.5 millimeter hook. I did use just Bernat Super Saver for this one, but as my husband doesn't think there was a lot of distinction, I thought I would try this because I know this is it's called Marshmallow, so it's a little bit more off of an off-white, and I thought that it would work well with the next one. So this one is a 4 medium. It recommends a 5 millimeter hook or a 5 millimeter needles or a 5.5 millimeter hook. And the last one that we are going to use fully, because you only need just a couple of scraps of orange, so you don't really need much of the orange, but you do need just a little bit of them. These are scraps from another project I have on the go in the back. And this one is Yarnspirations Karen Simply Soft Party. I will link this one in the description box below. However, I bought mine a while ago. I did just reorder this because I didn't know I had this. So this is a 99% acrylic with 1% metallic in it. It is a 4 medium. It does recommend a 5 millimeter needle or a 5 millimeter hook. Now we're going to start with the bundle up because that is going to be our base. So I have, as I said, I've actually had 2 balls of this stuff. So what I'm doing is just using up the last ends of the first ball, and then I have the second ball, but it is a bit of a tangled mess. So we are going to start with a magic circle. Now, where did I just put that end? I had it, and then I put it somewhere. I moved it, and then I lost my end. So as we know, yarn barfs are part of this. I may pause you to find my end because I did not know that was going to be this hard to do. And I will be back in a second. All right, so I found my end. What we're going to do is we are going to start our magic circle, which is pinch your finger and your thumb together, holding your middle finger and these fingers together like this. Wrap it around your finger, having the yarn in the back. I am using a 3.75 millimeter hook. This one is from Knitter's Pride. I did get this one at a store in Bracebridge called Muskoka Yarn Connection. Now, if you notice, I wrapped around the hook and then I grab right here at the stitch. 1, 2, and now you're going to start your single crochets in this loop. So you're going to do 6 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. But I do have to say, there is a reason I am using this particular hook. You do want a large opening, not as bad for this one as you did the pumpkins, but you do want a fairly large opening. So as you saw, I just tightened that thread up. Now you're going to grab this loop here and that loop there. That takes a bit of work, but then you're going to slip stitch off. And now you're going to chain 2. You always want to chain 2 when you start the next row. So once you slip stitch together, you're going to chain 2. So this row, you are going to double every stitch. So you're going to single crochet in each stitch, which is called an increase stitch. So you're going to increase each stitch. So you're going to do 2 single crochets in each set of loops. So you get 2 loops and you do single crochet and then single crochet. You grab the next 2 loops and you do single crochet and single crochet. And then you just keep going that way. This is an increase row. This is how you do your magic circle increases. Now you can do different stitches, but this is the general premises. When it says increase, you want to increase the number of stitches in the row to pretty much double. Now, I know that this next stitch isn't really a stitch. I treat it like a stitch because I want it flat. So let's just untangle that a little bit. So that next stitch, most people do actually work it in. You do not have to. I do this for my coasters simply because it gives me a much flatter surface to start with. So then you're going to slip stitch, chain 2. Now this one, what you're going to do is you're going to go in and you're going to single crochet 1 stitch, and then the next stitch is an increase, so it's 2 single crochet. 1, 2, and then this stitch will be 1 stitch, 1 single crochet, and then 2 single crochet. That is how you're going to finish this row off. Single crochet and 2 crochet. I will be back in a second to start the next row to show you where we're at. Okay, so I did my slip stitch and I chained my 2. So this one you're going to do 2 single crochets. 1, 2, and then you're going to increase on the next stitch. So here's your increase stitch. 1, 2 in the 1 stitch, and then 2 more stitches. 1, 2, and then you're going to do 2 in this one. And 1, 2, 2 in this one. Now you are going to continue these rows. So you're going to continue your increasing rows. So the next one will be 3 stitches in between each increase, and then 4, and then 5. I will be back once we have the 5 stitches in the increase, and I'll show you how to measure it, and I'll show you what the next step is. 1, 2, and I will be back in a sec. So I'm going to show you where you want it. You want it so that the cup sits pretty much in it, and then you have one row going around, not touching. So you basically have one extra row around the cup, which is what you want. So now you're going to do 1, 2, 3. So about 2 rows of single crochet, and then we'll measure it on the cup each row. So you're just going to go single crochet, no increases, all the way around. I'm going to measure it. I'll come back, I'll show you it once, and I'll see if we have to do another one. I think we might, because my cup has a little bit of a space here. So I'm going to just measure it. I think it'll be 2. I think 3 is too much, but I think 2 will work. And I will come back. I will show you at the end of this row on a measurement if I need to do one more. Okay, so I have mine done, but as I can see, I'll put it up here, it is a little bit low, so I am going to do the second row, and I will be back to show you how to do the third one. So this row, you're going to chain 2, but what I want to do first is I want to grab 3 stitch markers. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to come and you're going to fold it up like a taco, and then you're going to put a stitch marker here, and then what you want to do is fold it the other way like a taco. So you have the needle and the first stitch marker touching, or the hook I should say, and then you just want to put a stitch marker here and a stitch marker here. So now you have 3 stitch markers. Those are going to tell you where you're going to start your snowman. So what you're going to do is you're going to single crochet all the way over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And you want to go 2 away from the stitch marker. Actually 1. We'll do 1 because you're going to do 4 stitches. Chain 4 stitches now. So you have 1 stitch the stitch marker. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you've chained 4. Take your stitch marker out and go 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, I'm going to go back that. There. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So in the 5th stitch, 3 and 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. In that 5th stitch, you're going to single crochet. So then 1, 2, 3. Oh, this yarn does like to tangle, that's for sure. 4, 5, 6, 7. We're going to do 8. So do single crochet for 8 stitches, and then 1, 2. Take your stitch marker out. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So in the 5th stitch, single crochet, and then you should be able to single crochet 8 stitches now. 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think we're gonna have to do 10 here. So 1, 2, so yeah, 10. So I got 10 on this side. I'm gonna take that last stitch marker out. Chain 4, 2, 3, 4. 2, And then the fifth one, single crochet, and then single crochet all the way to the end. So you're going to have basically this buttonholes essentially in your work. Now remember, this is not going to or you're not going to slip stitch these together. 1, 2, 3. You just go all the way to the end. And now you're going to chain, finish that last one, and then you're going to chain 2 and turn, or 3 actually. So you're going to chain 3, turn. Now you're going to double crochet all the way up to the buttonhole. So you're going to double crochet now. So that is basically, you have your loop, off of your chain, you wrap around and you go through the hole. You wrap around again, you pull through 2, and then you pull through 2. So you have your loop, you wrap around and go through the hole. You wrap around again, you wrap around when you bring it through, and then you go through 2 and you go through 2. And you're going to continue to do that all the way across. Until you get to that first hole, and then you're going to need a stitch marker again. So now I stop at that stitch right there. So right there is where I stop, and I put my stitch marker in. And then I turn my work. You can do this regardless. That's not the right end. That's the right end. So you want to come under, grab your yarn, and you want to go 1, 2, 3 chains in the buttonhole space. Oh, that fell off. And then what you're going to do, you're going to wrap around, go back through, come up, pull through 2 loops, wrap around, go back through, come up, go through 2 loops. You are going to continue this on for till you have 15 to 16 loops on the hook. So 1, 2, 3, this is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, oh, that's 13, 14, 15, and as I said, it can be 15 or 16 if you want to include the chain stitch or not. It does not matter. I'm going to, so we are going to go all the way through. 1, oh, that didn't, I split the yarn there. 1, 2, 3, and then what you're going to do is you're going to come over here. You're going to grab 2 loops and you're going to pull out, and now you're going to have a tail, trim off, and you're going to do that same exact, you're going to repeat that 2 more times. So you are making the first ball of the snowman right now. So right now, you just want to slip stitch 1, 2, 3, come over, and then, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. Come through all of them. It really sucks when you lose it there. I've had it happen. 1, 2, 3. And as you see, that one pulled in really nice and tight. It's curving the right way we want it to. Grab this stitch at the end. Tighten up through, leaving a tail. And there's multiple ways to do that tail. I like to do a nice, sometimes I want to make sure I'm getting the right amount. As you can see, they curl in really nicely. And I have to admit, the feel between the two of them is a really nice feel. So this marshmallow is a super soft yarn. I don't know if I said it. It is, I think, I think it's a polyester. It is. It's 100% polyester. So it is really nice. And it'll actually help keep retained warmth. So there's your chain 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. And then you're going to come through all of it. 1, 2, 3. Come over here. Bringing it through. And I do like this particular party yarn because it has a beautiful iridescent shimmer in it, which makes it feel very much like snow. Now, you're going to go back to this one. Actually, I am going to darn in my ends because if you know me, I hate ends. I didn't show at the beginning, so I'm going to show darning in now, just so that you don't have a bunch of tails kicking around, driving you crazy. I like to go back up around through this final stitch again, almost to lock it into place so you don't lose it when you're darning up, because there's nothing worse than sitting there thinking you're actually locking the stitch in place and you went the wrong way and you end up pulling it out, having to redo it. That really sucks. So if you make sure what you're doing when you lock it in, then the next stitch, it won't matter so much. So you're just going to tighten that, giving it a good little pull. And then you can go back through a bit. And this one, as long as you come out about there, you can trim that off and it won't be a big deal. So there's that. And I do believe this is a really important step to do while you're doing it. This is my pet peeve, having them hang down, tangle in my work, and tangle around me. I absolutely hate that. I find it messes up what I'm looking at. I want to make sure I can see what I'm supposed to be doing. You go all the way through, like I said. Oops. And this does take a little bit of extra pulling and work and just a little bit more effort to try to get it through. But you know you're really tying that in tight. You know that it's nice and secure. You will not lose it and it will not come undone. Now you do not have tails kicking around, mucking up your work, getting involved in your work, trying to work their way through. I know some people will leave it to the end. I am not one of them. I cannot stand having tails in my way. I would much rather have them worked in as I go, and then when I finish, it doesn't feel like so much work to be finished because it's only a couple of tails when you're done. If you work them in as you go, I find it's a very good method, a good way to do it. Returning viewers will know that I hate tails. It's usually one of the first things I try to get out. And if you can see the needle wants to go through more, by all means, let it go where it wants to go. As long as it's coming out in the white you want it to come out in, it doesn't really matter. So now you're going to trim that off. And like I said, we're going to go back to this one. So you can take this one off its stitch marker now. You probably will want to keep the stitch marker. You are going to use it again. So this one, now that you're at the snowball, the bottom snowball, you're going to single crochet here at the top. 1, 2, just find 4 places to put it in. 3, 4, and then right on the next stitch, you're going to double crochet. There we go. That's the right hole. And you're just going to do that all the way across. So double crochet in between the snowballs and 4 single crochets over the snowballs. So I will be back when I finish this row to show you the next step. Actually, I think I did this wrong. So I'm going to go back to that first snowflake, the first one, the snowball. And instead of single crochet over it, we are going to do 1 single crochet at the beginning, 1, 2 chains, and then 1 single crochet at the end, and then your double crochets. So that's how you're going to do it. I do apologize. I just took a look at it and realized I wasn't doing it right. So I did make this about a week or 2 ago, possibly. And I knew it took a long time to make it because there's a lot of embroidery work on it. So we're just gonna keep going around. And then, like I said, you're going to do this double crochet. And I think with the Bernat Premium, I don't know if I did double crochet or if I did. See, I carried it through and then you could see it and I didn't like that. So the one thing I did change was I did do them individually now. It's a much better 1, 2. It's a much better way to do it that way. you're not seeing the sparkles through this marshmallow. It is so that the snowman will stand out a little bit more. So you're just going to continue to go across, and you double crochet all the way around, and then like I said, you just grab the one, stitch at the beginning, chain 2, go to the end, and then I will start with the white again, and I'll show you the next row. So I am going to chain stitch that one and then single crochet right there. 1, 2, over to here, and then so as I said, this is my own pattern and I've only done it once. Well, that's not entirely true. I'm working on a coaster version of this that is going to be slightly different. So I wanted to, I'm having trouble with making the trees that I want for it. So I've got most of it done. I just haven't figured out how to do the trees the way I want them yet. So once I figure that out, I'll be able to do the coaster. So when you get to the end, there's one right there. So up. I'm pretty sure I had to do another double in here. And I got into here. Yeah. It looks like I went, so that's the single. So now we're going to chain 3. And we're going to do yet another double row. And that's because you're doing yet another snowball here. Actually, I'm going to go back. This is one of my things about crochet. I never know if you put it in there or if you put it down here. When it comes to double crochets, I like to go under, make it look better. I'm not 100% sure where you're supposed to put the placement. I like to put it down below so that it looks better. So if you don't do it that way, not a problem. But we're going to double crochet all the way back to where you have the next chain stitches. And then we'll use the stitch marker again. Now you are going to double crochet this one, right? That single crochet that you did, put that on your stitch marker. Grab your sparkle again. And in the chain 2, what you want to do is you want to chain slip stitch and then chain 1, 2, and this one you're going to do 10. So 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. 1, 2, and then you repeat what you did with the last one. And this one has 10 because snowmen, you like to make 3 different size snowballs. So, and if you wanted to, you could easily, as you're working, work in your threads as you go. As I said, go up and through your working stitch. to lock it in, and then you just, and these bent needles are really good for this part because you are trying to get them to bend close to you. That's how you kind of get it through, all that through. And then come back, trim off. So we are going to repeat that all the way across. Yet again, same as the last one. You want to chain one here. Your single crochet there, 1, 2, single crochet here right at the end, and then your double crochet all the way. So you do want to go with it right here. You want to go right in between the snowman and your last post. That way it doesn't have a hole. And then just carry it on all the way to the next one. So I will be back when I've done these two, and I will show you the next row. And then I will show you what's next stage. Okay, so now you're on to the third snowball row. You're going to just double crochet all the way over and repeat kind of the last row. So what I mean is you're going to go all the way over, and you can start the snowball. I'm going to wait till I finish this one because I want to see how it looks at the end. The end of the row. So you're just going to double crochet over. And then, as I said, if you really want to, you can start this row now, doing the same thing that you've been doing, but I'm going to put this on here. And if I do, I'm going to start at this side, and you do 5. So you don't do anything different. You're just going to chain 2, 1, 2, or 3, I should say, 3. And then you're going to do 5 of these. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then you're going to come over 1, 2, grabbing these guys again. Come up. And then you can darn that guy in. And then when you're done the 3 of them, you will be done with the sparkle white. So I'm going to finish all my 3 off. So I can just go back to the marshmallow until I'm ready to put the black on, because that'll be the next one you work with. So as I said, the sparkle's done. So you can put it away once you're done the 3rd snowball. And I do find it important to decrease the number of stitches in it, so that way it gets a really plump, not so plump, and kind of a less feeling, because I do believe when you make a snowman, that's how you do it. So I'm going to finish off this. I will come back and show you the next couple of rows, which will probably just be somewhat similar, but 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and I will be back in just a second. Okay, so now that I've gotten my 3 whites done, yet again, you're going to do the same thing. So single crochet. Now this one, you're just going to single crochet across because I want to do a second row to get it up before I do the hat. 2, and then come over here and come down. And if you do decrease a stitch here, I don't think it's too big of a deal. It may help your coffee cup cozy fit a little bit better if you're a little wider than you want to be. As you can see, I'm not really going upwards yet, so once I get there, I'll have to do a couple of rows. So, oh, now that was new. All right. Sorry, just had a yarn lose its label for no reason. And like I said, so what you're going to do here is you're going to do 2 rows of, well, you're going to finish this row off and then you're going to do 1 row of double crochet. Just to try to give yourself a little bit of space and probably repeat the same pattern. Sorry, I've got a knot here that I have to get out before I can do anything. So you're just going to repeat this row twice. So you're going to do the double crochets in where you do the double crochets, and then you're going to do the single crochets over the white party. I'm going to pause so I can get this out. And when I come back, I will have finished the second row. There we go. And I will be right back. Okay, so I finished the first row. I did 3 crochet over the top, 3 single crochet over the top. What we're going to do now is I'm just going to, I know I said I was going to come back after this row, but what I want to do is I want to double crochet all the way over to it. And then what I'm going to do is I am going to do a black. And I'm going to see if this will work. If this will tighten up and I can put it on my cup now. So I have to get through this row before I can see if it'll fit the cup the way I wanted it to. Now, I did want to say, when using this bundle up yarn, it's not as thick as this yarn was. So this yarn is thicker, as you can see. So therefore, it leaves a much more full look. But like I said, my husband was complaining about not being able to see this well. So I wanted to try at least a different color. And I did not have a cream in this Super Saver at all. So this was the closest I had to cream. So now what you're going to do is you're going to do, actually, yeah, 1, 2, 3, and then just a double crochet here. And you're going to do that for all 3 of them. So I will come back in the next, when I'm done this row, to see if it'll fit the cup and if I need to do any other rows, which I don't know, but we will see. And I will be back in a second. So I didn't like how it was sitting on my cup. It's a little too large. So I've been able to actually pull it all out with still leaving everything attached the way we've made it. So I'm going to do more rows in between, and I'm not going to have as many on the outside. So I think I'm only going to do to that stitch. I don't want to pull any more out because, like I said, I have it perfectly aligned currently. So that I'm probably actually the best way to do this is to grab a couple of stitches here in the beginning. So that'll be 1 off. And then just single crochet all the way around. And what I'm going to do to that, so I'm going to do a single crochet in between each row. And I'm going to show you how to do this. So do everything you've done. If it works for you, great. If it didn't work for you, I do recommend pulling it all out. Don't worry about anything. So now you're going to single crochet here. Chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Go behind it and then single crochet in the next stitch. And you're going to do this twice. So, oops, I didn't mean to do it that way. So in that stitch, there we go. So you're going to do 2 of these because that'll get you up to the next row. And as I said, because I've actually made them, you can see my little snowball right there. I'm going to be able to keep moving it down the line. So that way it's all made in place. I didn't mess it up. So I can still use it. I can still use it all. I just didn't like how wide the coffee cup cozy had gotten. So 1, 2, and just pull it down. 3 and 4. And then go behind it and do a single crochet. This will actually hold your coffee cup cozy a lot more tight. And it'll actually make it a little bit more structured. I didn't do it with the other one because I didn't need to with the other yarn. But I did do a single crochet in between each. So I did a single crochet and then I would do the double crochet. But I didn't actually do, what I didn't do was I didn't go behind like that. I did that with these ones. So this one made, I couldn't have actually done what I'm doing this time. I would have had to pull it all apart, cut it all up. So I'm actually really happy at this accidental mistake. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then, like I said, single crochet in here. And then you just single crochet all the way across. But this one, I do need to do a decrease at the end, just to match the last section. So as you can see, I've got 2 of the snowballs now. But we'll work them into the next step. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, there's my decrease row right there. So I'm just going to do that, come up. And now this will be your double crochet row. 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, oops, 8, and 9. And now what we're going to do is I'm going to slip stitch here, chain 2, 1, 2, slip stitch at the back, and then just continue on. So you have your chains at the back, allowing you to hold the coffee cup cozy slightly better together. And actually, this should give you a bit more height. This one wasn't very tall. I didn't like that. This one. As I said, just keep moving these down so you don't need them just yet. And this is only if you have to do what I did here. 1, 2, and then now this next row, we're going to single crochet. Nice part about this is, as I said, you should be able to put them on the cup and see how well you've done. If you've tightened it up, if you have to do this. Mine was way too loose when I saw it. I did not like how loose it was. I did not like how it was flapping around, and I didn't like how short it was. So, like I said, I just want to expand it a bit. And this is, in my opinion, the best way I'm going to get that. 1, 2, come over here, do a single crochet, and then do your doubles all the way to the end. So I guess this is 2 ways to do a snowflake Christmas cozy, because coffee cup cozy, because I did not intend to do it this way. And it is not how I started it, but now I do want to see if I have to take off another one here, because I do not want it too big on the coffee cups. So if I have to decrease, this would be a good time to do it. And just keep moving these guys down. I've got 4 now. I'm going to end up with 5 soon enough. And I'm going to leave it there, and I'm going to test it on my coffee cup here. As you can see, like, there's just so much space here that I'm just going to work on decreasing here. I'm getting as much decreased as possible. There we go. So there's that. So you're going to go up, and now you're going to single crochet this one. 1, 2, 3, 4. And if they come apart, it's not easy. It's not that hard to redo them, though I don't think they will come apart until you need them. So now I'm just going to pull this one over. And see if I can do it. 1, 2, 3. Let's see if I can go through this and get it onto a chain 3. I don't think I'm going to be able to, though. That might be pushing it. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to loop at the back and then grab this side and this side. Over. There we go. So now it is in place. You might have to take a bit of white thread, but when you do the black, you might be able to sew it up. No big deal anyways, because you are going to be adding black in here, and you will be sewing stuff up with the black. So don't be too worried if they still look separate. You can fix that, not a problem, when you add the little black buttons on it. So now you're going to single crochet this row, or single crochet over to the next space. And this is definitely adding more space to your coffee cup holder so that you definitely have more. So we can do that. Come over here, come through, through, and through. There we go. One. And we're just going to do that again. And like I said, it just kind of sits there a little bit. I will definitely fix that in a minute. And as I said, if you wanted to cut it off, get them off, restart it, you could easily do that. And then you could actually make these into a pin. I have been thinking about doing that because it would be very easy to make this snowman into a pin, which I think I will do in the future. Probably not very long from now. I just haven't sat down and done it yet. So it probably will be out not long after this video, to be honest. One in there, and then just single crochet all the way to the end. And we are going to cast off a couple more stitches on this one. So we're back to only having the 3 now, the 3 little snowballs until you're ready to make them. One. Actually, no, I am going to do 1. No, I actually did want to do that. So you don't fully finish it, and then go to the next one, and then finish that off. There we go. I think that will be well. So now you're going to chain 2, 3, and now we're going to double crochet this row. Now, I do think it is important to have the double crochet rows in between if you have the thinner yarn, because I was using a thinner yarn and didn't realize it. It's one of those things that you can't always make a guess on. Sometimes you have to be a little creative on your own when making a pattern that you think is going to work. I am going to, oh, that was a double crochet, so I need to do that. So there we go. So now you want to grab that. 1, 2, grab this side. 1, and then come down. Oh, come down and do the single crochet. Now, I am going to decrease here because I do think this is part of the problem. I have too many increases in between each snowman as well. But I do know that I really do want to try to get some space here and it coming up a bit. So I don't think we need to do too much off, but you definitely want to take a couple of stitches off here and there. So I'm going to finish off this row and I will come back and I will show you how to do the next row. Come on. There we go. 1, 2. You just come over to this side. Oh, that can happen where you accidentally grab the wrong thread. It does happen. Just try to work it back in so that it's still tightened. And that way you don't come out with anything. So I will be back in a minute and we will continue on. So this row, we're going to just single crochet. And we're going to leave the top of the snowman on these rows. But I am going to test it on my cup. And as you can see, it's a lot more cup oriented now. It is a lot more, there we go. It's still going to be a little low on this cup, I think. I'm not going to be able to have it up high, but I think that'll be all right. So we're just going to single crochet this row. And I think I might do a second because of the fact that it is so low. I don't want it that low. However, it is starting to feel like it'll fit the cup much better though. So I don't think I need to worry about taking off any more stitches. But what we're going to do is we're just going to chain 2. Oh, there was a knot there, so I just have to go over the knot with each one. There we go. 2, and then go through the third one. And then single crochet. Now you're going to want to go through both of them if you're doing this and you want to start if you're doing this without actually having the baubles on it and you've kind of watched this, decided how you wanted to make it, then what I would recommend is this row will be your increase row, so you could easily chain 2. I know there's a stitch there, but that's all right. So you could then, when you do it, you just go around the 2 of them, which would make it fit really nicely. But as I said, I'm just trying to go for a little bit more of height here. So I want just a little bit taller. This one, like I said, the guys sit almost right up to the top of the cup, which makes it look really cute. And I am trying to do the same thing, but you do want a space to drink. So you do want it down a little bit, but that's why I'm trying to find the perfect space here. So 1, 1, 2. I actually might get these 3 and not add them and then show you what I mean. So if you are doing it the other way, you can see how I mean when I say that. Though I have these 3 on, I might actually use them to make their own little safety pin. So we'll go from there. So this will be your double crochet row. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to double crochet all the way over. And then I'm going to slide this one back into place. So I'm just going to do that for this one. So 1, 2, 3. And then you want to come in that loop. So that final loop that you're doing, you just want to slip stitch them all together. 1, 2, and do your, oh no, I don't want to chain 2 there, but I do want to wrap around and do my double crochets right here. So that's how I'm going to handle this one. I will show you how to do it. And like I said, you want to make sure you grab both of the chain stitches. So what you would do is come here, grab it, put your chain in here, slip stitch on, chain 3, 1, 2, 2, and 3, and then just proceed making them like you would. And they will be nice tight tight in there, they won't be, pardon me, they won't be coming out. But because I don't have that done yet, I'm going to finish doing the way I'm doing, and I will show you the next row. Okay, so I'm done that row, the single crochet row. Now we're going to double crochet all the way to the snowman. And then we are going to chain 3. And then we are going to finish that row that way. So we're going to keep chaining to the next snowman, chain 3, and then double crochet all the way along. So right here, we want to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. The yarn is not coming out of this ball nicely, even after a yarn barf, which is rare, but sometimes it happens. So then you're going to grab that one right there, and you're going to double crochet all the way over to the next one. And this will be your last, I'm going to say cream row, because that is the color of this yarn essentially. So we're going to call that the last row. And I will be back in a minute to show you how we're going to do the rest of it. So now that I finished that row off, you want to come over and you want to go through there and you want to slip them together. Now, I am going to suggest leave a little bit of a tail. You want a bit of a tail here because there we go. You want to really tie this in really tight. So you want to make sure you get this nice tight stitch right here, so that way it won't come undone on you. And you want to just keep going back and forth and going in, making sure that it's a nice tight stitch. And then you should be able to just darn it in. And that will be your marshmallow or cream or crew or whatever you'd like to call it. So there's that. I am going to test it on the cup because I do want to see how it fits. Now that it's done, this is an important step. That should be all right. As you can see, I have them up higher, and then there's those. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we are going to grab our black, and now we are going to start right here with a slip stitch. Actually, you're going to go in the 2 with a slip stitch. 1, 2. Now I like to try to get into the white as well. You're just going to do single crochets here. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to do at least 1 more. So this is where you're going to secure the upper snowman's head, because now that will be a lot more secure. 1, 2, turn, and you're going to come in. You're going to single crochet and single crochet, leaving a bit of a tail. Now what you're going to do is you're going to tie these in, because you do not want them sticking out. And I'm just going to finish the 1. I will do the 1 all the way through so you can see exactly how I did it. And then I'll just finish the other 2 off of screen. So you don't have to watch me. This video is already long enough, I can see. So with the mistake, took a little bit longer. So now what you want to do is just trim that off. Trim this one off. Now, I did use this Bernat Premium Sparkle, If you notice, there is just a little tiny bit of red and sparkle up there. I just literally went in with a little bit of red sparkle. I'm going to leave a bit of a tail, so I don't need much of it. And then I just came in on this side, went around a stitch. Oops, sorry about that. Oops. That is what you want to make sure you're careful of. See, if you have to, you can do that. And go back in. And then just tie that up. And there's your there's your little red and silver. It's right there. I like to just tie it so that it's absolutely tied off so you can't pull it out. So there's the red. You're going to need 3 darning needles, or at least 1 darning needle to get through this. I'm going to use the 3 because I'm going to be doing black, white, or black, brown, red, and orange. But the orange one is easy enough to do. So we're going to do him in a second. So what we're going to do is we are going to grab the black. We are going to come out here on one of the eyes, wherever you want to place the eye, leaving yourself a bit of a tail. Come back in. And you do want to do that and pull it all the way through, so that way you know you have to come back in and give yourself a bit better of an eyeball here. Kind of yet again, you're locking that one into place almost. Come over to the other side. Eyes are really hard to do, I find. Trying to get a circle isn't the easiest. Oh, that'll work. Now, what I like to do is come through and grab the white there. And grab one of the whites there. And now that should tie the 2 snowballs together, giving you the ability to tighten that up. There's that. There's that. You could easily do that with white. And now you're going to come out and you're going to do a button. Just 1 button. Come back and do it again. Always repeat it when you're doing this because it does help. There we go. There's that one. Then we're going to come down to this one. Oops. Grab there. Grab there. And we're going to put them both together so they come both out together. And as you've noticed, I have not pulled off any. So therefore, you're not putting in a whole lot of work getting these little buttons into place. And you don't have a lot of ends here. And then I just come out and double back around the center. It's going to come out. And a good thing you can always do is do this. Tie it around, giving yourself just some really good black, and then go back in. That is another way to give yourself a really good button. Unfortunately, the way I had to do these guys, you're going to see that a little bit more. So then just come back up here Those are not my favorite buttons. I will probably end up doing better ones on camera, but we're just going to grab that, tie that off. Now, this one is super easy to do. Grab a crochet hook. I'm just going to use the 3.5, or you can use the one you've been using. Doesn't really matter. This one is just chain 2, 1, 2, and that's what I said. You really do not need a lot of yarn for this. Grab your yarn end, and now the best way to handle this one is to tie them in together. So you kind of have that right there. And then what you're going to do is you're going to come in here. There's that. Now I like to do this with the back one first. Go in and then darn the needle, because then I know I have enough yarn to pull it through. Yet again, tying up, just normal knot. I guess you could do that with each of the stitches too if you really wanted to, or the buttons. Would definitely make them stand out more. So there's that. I think I would recommend using white to hold them together, so I'll show you how I'm going to do that. Trim off a piece now that I have a white. And it does obviously look better this way. Obviously, that's the way I recommend you do it. I just happened to get lucky and didn't have to pull them completely off. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take white, and I'm just going to try and stitch the two together, leaving a tail so I can push that in at the end. And just kind of slowly stitch them together. And then go up to the top one and kind of repeat. And that way they are stitched together, they are stitched in. I just took the cheater's way through it. And then I'm just going to come up. Just kind of do a bit of a tighten on that one, and then go through the stitch at the back. And that way, it definitely holds it together a lot better. Now, I know I can do this, so I'm just going to take this yarn and travel it through the back. You won't even see it, or at least you shouldn't. Yeah, you won't see that. And this is just fixing my mistake. I would do it the first way I showed you, but like I said, I didn't test it soon enough to see if I really liked the way the coffee cup cozy was sitting in the cup. So I had to frog it to make that work a little better. Now you're just going to pull that in, go down, and then just like I said, stitch these together, and no one will ever know that you had to do it a different way if you make the mistake like I did. If you don't, it will look a lot like that, and it will look a lot more original to the way you want it. I ended up making a mistake, but I ended up making a way to make it work. Hopefully showing you that just because it is a mistake doesn't mean you have to frog all of it, waste it all, and throw it out. I was able to fix my mistake with a few little modifications, which I'm kind of happy that I get to show modifications, because honestly, I think these snowmen actually end up being more poofier than the other ones did. So these guys are not as poofy. They don't stand out as much. So I guess it's going to be the way you like to look at it too. Because if you like the non-poofy, this will be or if you like the poofy, this will be a really good pattern way to do it if you want. And as I said, all of this is my own. I just sat there and knew what I wanted to do and came up with how I wanted to do it. So I really don't like how I did that one. I might actually cut the black out of it and make it look better because I really don't like the way it came out. So I'm going to fix that and make it look better. I may not even have to get rid of all of it, but I do want to get rid of the stuff that's around the neck. I really don't like that. Don't like that I can see it here. Now I can follow it through. There we go. Much better. There, that's better. And it will look so much better. And that is something I do recommend. If you really don't like the way something looks, fix it. Fix it so you do like it. It means a lot more work. It does. I will say that it does. But make it so you like how it looks. Black off. And now, oops, dropping needles. And now we are just going to come up. And I should have done this in the first place. Because it looks so much better this way. Come up and just there we go. Much better. Much better. So much better. There we go. I'm just gonna do that. And now the easiest thing to do will be to just put one more black row in there so that I can have that one more black bead there. And then we're going to do the hands, and then I'm pretty much done with this guy until I show you the finished product. So, as I said, we're just going to trim that off. And I did do the other one very much like this one. That was black yarn. I do need that one still, so let me grab it. I am going to come out. You always want to come from the inside if you're doing this. It does make it look so much better if you just come from the inside. There. And now I'm just going to tie this up. And then I'll do the hands, and then I'll show you the finished product when I'm done. Okay, so there's the black. Here's my brown. As I said, I will link the brown in the description because I did get it from an Amazon pack of cotton yarns from China, which were actually really nice to use. So here you want to come out and you want to go right about there for the arm. Now, I did have a little bit of trouble with the hand placement. I did find that was a little more awkward, but let's see how I do here. So there's 1, 2, then just come down for the third one here, and should be able to do it right there. 3. There is the one hand. Now we're just going to repeat that on the other side. And then I will come back and show you the finished product. sorry, I heard something out there. Now you want to get this guy. And you want to do it right to about there. No, I want to redo. You do want to go twice with the outer arm, or the long part of the arm. I do find that, just to make sure you get it really nicely in place here. Two, and the way it looks, I can go that way. So there's my hand. I will come back and I will show you the finished project when I have it all done, and I will see you in just a second. So there you have it. I have them both done. As I said, this one is a little bit smaller. I do like the hat, so I guess you could go up a few more rows if you really wanted to. But if you do use this one, you pretty much will make it as is, just because of that. So there you have it. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope to see you again. I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye.